Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, and we are just a few days away from the next big warbond coming to the game, and there's a lot of updates and a lot of theories about what's going on, so today we're going to cover some of those and what seems most likely when it drops. But without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. So fellow Helldivers, we have a lot of exciting stuff going on. We know of a brand new Singularity party that is going to be hosted by DJ Guard Dog on May 13th in Free Springs on Widow's Harbor. And it's pretty ominous because this is right around the corner of when we get the new Warbond announced on May 8th. And there's a lot of theories about what's going to happen with this brand new expansion coming to the game. In fact, the Cold Brew actually went ahead and talked about some leaks, such as the next big update, which is going to be after Omens and Escalation, a new collab, probably Warhammer, which is going to be the discussion of today's video, a fully fleshed out Squids, which is going to be great. We definitely need more Illuminate enemies, boss enemies, raid level enemies. They did a collab with Bungie earlier, and they did have them in the first game. Along with that, there's some reaches there, such as an Xbox ODST collab and a free Warbond expansion. Those are just reaching though. Those aren't anything that we've heard any confirmation from Arrowhead or leakers on. But today I did want to talk about that collaboration with Warhammer, because the last time we got a major expansion, we got the Killzone collab, and it seems like the collab with Warhammer definitely seems to be around the corner, so let's dig into it. And interestingly enough, the CEO went on to go ahead and explain, after one Warhammer fan said Games Workshop would be extremely unlikely to agree to a crossover, well, the CEO cleared it up saying, "I can tell you Gamer Workshop would love to do a crossover, and we're huge 40k fans ourselves." He then went on to say, "Time and resources are finite and we've got our hands busy. It would be cool as hell, but I really don't know." That being said, something new appeared in the files, which we talked about yesterday, which is this brand new chainsword that Ironsights let us know about. It's a melee type weapon, and yeah, I did actually go ahead and say it reminded me of Ash from Evil Dead. I get it. Everyone's like, no, it's definitely Warhammer, but it's easy to make the mistake right there because I actually just grew up watching Evil Dead. That being said, I think Evil Dead would be another cool crossover, especially with the voteless, but it does seem like Warhammer does seem to be on the table. Otherwise, why go ahead and create that? Or at least some Warhammer inspired stuff could be coming to the store in the very near future. And that makes a lot of sense because, well, Pedelstedt has actually gone out and talked about intellectual property crossovers with other games. And interestingly enough, he put out a tweet on November 2nd advertising a new game called Trench Crusade, which is a tabletop game I'll go over in just a second. And Trench Crusade was like, oh my god, I can't believe you noticed us. And then Pedelstedt said, I would love to do a Helldivers 2 Trench Crusade crossover. And then they went ahead and said, that'd be the sickest thing imaginable. And then Pedelstedt actually said, I sent the DM, let's talk, so I have more things to discuss. Definitely getting the wheels turning on a possible crossover. Now, in case you don't know, Tech Crusade is a tabletop war game set in a blasphemous alternate World War I era, which now that we have the Constitution, I actually think this would fit pretty well. But regardless, players take command of the forces of heaven and hell. Basically, it's like Doom, but tabletop with World War I aesthetics. Overall, it would be really cool. However, it got even more in depth as Pedelstedt said, to add more to this conversation, here's an extended list of IPs that I would really love to do a take on. And he gave a bunch of great ones. Aliens, Starship Troopers, which this game is clearly designed after. Terminator, which, you know, we fight the bots, so that makes a lot of sense. Predator, Star Wars, Fifth Element, Blade Runner, Warhammer 40k, which we just recently got Space Marines 2, so that would actually be perfect. Trench Crusade is on that list again, Mutant Chronicles, and Drop Zone Commander. Sadly, I didn't see Halo. I would really love to see that, especially because they had a Halo skin. He also actually mentioned at some point about talking about massive PvE battles involving something like 20 to 30 players, all in the same big firefight. It comes up pretty often at the studio, but there are engine limitations, so we'll see what happens. All that being said, this isn't the first time we've actually heard about collaborations. As in a recent Q&A with the Arrowhead CEO, someone actually asked any chance of a collaboration with Deep Rock Galactic / Coffee Stain. It's my personal headcanon that our galactic war is funded by the Dwarves mining efforts. And the answer was, well, we are looking to do collabs. I think it's more important that we improve the state of the game and the quality of our updates. That being said, it's clearly something on their minds and that they have been thinking about, and well, and there's a good chance there's already some that are beginning to be in the works. Now, there was a recent weapon that has sparked debate among fans. Image actually depicts a weapon bearing an uncanny resemblance to the BR-55 battle rifle from the iconic Halo franchise. If you've ever played Halo, you would recognize this almost instantly as I did. This has led to some question to the originality of the weapon's design, however. Interestingly, the developers have responded by urging fans for compassion and a move away from comparisons. This cryptic response actually only fuels speculation about the possibility of a collaboration between Helldivers Helldivers 2 and Halo, a prospect that would undoubtedly surprise fans of both franchises, but we'll actually talk about this again in a minute because they've already kind of teased it a little bit. Now, while the Halo collaboration remains unconfirmed, another potential crossover has emerged, albeit through an unusual channel. A recent survey conducted by Dead by Daylight, the asymmetrical horror game, you might have seen it, it's a pretty fun, popular game on Twitch on occasion, included Helldivers 2 among its options as a potential collaboration in the future, indicating that there has been some talk before or that they have at least reached out to Arrowhead Studio. This has sent shivers down the spines of some fans as the thematic disparity between the two games is pretty huge. They're not at all similar in any regard, other than the fact that occasionally I guess you play co-op with your friends, but other than that, the comparisons really end there. Dead by Daylight is definitely a suspenseful horror game mixed with, you know, trying to survive the night, which I guess, you know, if you count the Terminators and Automatons, I guess I could kind of see something there. Anyways, the survey's broader selection of games suggests that Dead by Daylight might simply be casting a wide net for data collection, but we won't know 100%. There's also been talk about Destiny being a future crossover event as well, which as a fan of Bungie and Destiny, I could actually get behind. It would be very interesting on how they do it, but it does open up those doors. Now, regardless of the controversy of the improbable crossover, Helldivers 2, like I said earlier, has actually already established a connection to another sci-fi universe, though through Twitch drops. You might have noticed that during your Twitch drop event, viewers who watched Helldivers 2 gameplay for a set amount of time were rewarded with the TR-117 Alpha Commander armor set, modeled after your iconic Master Chief armor from Halo. Of course, it's not going to be a one-for-one representation, but it is very similar to it, and of course, the name 117, which is Master Chief's names. This instance of borrowing a recognizable design element demonstrates the potential for Helldivers 2 to engage in playful homages and collaborations with other sci-fi franchises, and personally, I love collaborations. I think having two of my favorite sci-fi universes connected through either armor sets or different weaponry is really, really cool and always fun. And the recent developments surrounding Helldivers 2 paint a picture of a game that is not afraid to push boundaries. They've always been willing to do what they feel is best in terms of the game and its future. And the controversy surrounding the new weapon hints at the potential for that collaboration. And once again, I would just love to play with the battle rifle in this game. I think it would be so fun. And while the Dead by Daylight survey, however improbable, underscores the element of surprise, the 117 armor obtained through Twitch drops serves as a concrete example of how Helldivers 2 can incorporate elements from other sci-fi universes while still remaining completely distinct within its own. All that being said, we're gonna go ahead and roll some community clips now. Don't forget to submit me any video clips you guys have that you want to see in the video. You can do so at Thorn and Smash on Twitter, but without further ado, let's roll the clips.
Enemy down, baby. Requesting orbital.
Let me know down below, what are your guys' thoughts on some of the stuff coming to the game in the May 8th update, and what are you personally hoping to see? Also, don't forget to check out this video right here where I cover more Helldivers news on the daily, and until next time, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Keep spreading managed democracy.